Welcome to the lighter side of the dark side. It's your bi-weekly freak show here on Halloween month. It's the Dark Mark Show. I am Dark Mark, the goth comedian. My usual co-host, Hannah Bach, everybody's favorite vegan heavy metal DJ, unfortunately, is sick and couldn't make it. She sends her regrets because she was really looking forward to this and was remarking at our guest beauty. But in her stead, we have our guest from last week and our guest frequently, the director of such classics, horror movie classics, as Meat Hook Massacre, the 5G Zombies, Robo Woman, Arachnado, Jaws in LA, and the upcoming, in production now, Amityville in the Hood, Dustin Ferguson.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
And last week we talked about our favorite horror movies of all time, and yours was?
Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, of course.
You got the poster right behind you. And there she is, the star, a 14-year-old young pre-goth, pre-comedian's dream comes true. I actually get to talk with somebody who was very influential in my puberty and other things. Oh, yes. The lovely Stacey Nelkin, star of Halloween 3 and other movies. Hi, Stacey.
Hi, thanks for having me, Mark. And send my best wishes to your other hostess. I'm sure. Sorry she can't be here, but
yeah, she was saying how I'm trying to get the exact quote, but I might not be able to. But something about how beautiful you are, because I sent 4 different possible flyers for this. She's like, she's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. That would be the
very sweet.
And now that I'm seeing you in Zoomland, I concur.
Very sweet. Not bad for an 80-year-old, right?
Well, we're not talking about some of your ex-lovers. We're talking about you. So,
Ooh.
So I went on Who's Dead Who. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But not only that,
right there, huh?
Not only that, I did a triple Nelkin feature last night. I saw Yellowbeard, Get Crazy, and Halloween 3.
Really?
Just to get ready for this. So
you are crazy.
I was trying to get Serial, but I couldn't quite find it.
That's one of my favorites. I like the comedies. Yeah.
And I saw The Academy last night, and yeah, so I've been binging.
Good for you.
And before we get started, real quick, we have if you go to audibletrial.com/DMS, free audiobook and free Audible original, or 2 free audiobooks or 2 free Audible originals. And if you go in the text, if you're watching this on YouTube or on a podcast channel, there are deals for 20% off Hustler Hollywood, 20% off Spy Associates, and also 15% off a case of my favorite energy drink, Raze energy drink. This is the Baja Lime. Tastes like Baja Blast from Taco Bell. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 crash. Delicious. And now I can match Stacey's energy. I'm trying to see where to begin with you because there's a lot pre and post Halloween 3 that I'm very curious about. We only have an hour. We got to get a heart out before the real horror that is the vice presidential debate today. You grew up in New York. You're in New York now, and you grew up in New York.
Yes, correct.
Stuyvesant High School.
Yeah.
Was that rough, or because I was here, Stuyvesant, I think Do the Right Thing. I don't know.
Oh no, Stuyvesant was one of those specialized schools you had to test to get in, and it was very rigorous. It's considered one of the top high schools in the country, so it was very, very tough in an academic mode, not otherwise, because they were kids who all wanted to go places and get into Ivy Leagues or MIT or any of those kind of schools, and most of them did.
So you're a genius.
I'm not a genius, but at one point I was okay in math and science and all those things, and yeah.
And I was trying to. Your IMDb is very confusing because I'm trying to figure out the first thing, but I guess you were a guest star on a lot of TV shows initially when you started acting, the Waltons and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, first credit was Chips.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, your first credit was Chips, wasn't it?
Yes, Chips actually was. That was when, well, the first, they flew me out to California to do California Dreaming that John Hancock directed. And then I wound up living and staying in LA. And Chips was the first, the first episodic. And then, it went on and on and on, and TV movies and features and miniseries, all that. Yeah. Yeah, I was very lucky. I worked a lot.
And how old were you at this time?
18. I had just turned 18. Yeah.
Okay, because and I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on it, and we're going to do it real quick. But when you were in 16, you filmed a scene in Annie Hall and were cut.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And then started going out with Woody Allen.
Correct.
After he cut you from the movie.
Well, we were already dating. He was editing the film while we were dating, and he sent me off to the screening. We were having dinner at the time at his apartment, and he sent me to this, little screening room on Park Avenue. Jackie O was there, and, it was everybody, who was anybody in New York at the time. And then there was me going alone. And he never, during dinner, he kept hinting about editing. But all I had done at that point, was theater, a slew of commercials, maybe a little teeny part in TV here and there. And he kept talking about the editing process. And he never said, Stacey, you're not going to be in the movie, but enjoy it. So I'm watching, and I'm looking, because my part was the 1940s, young Alvy. I played his cousin, which, if you've read his book, have either of you read his book, Apropos of Nothing?
I got the news on Audible, so I'm going to go to audibletrial.com/DMS and order it right now after the show.
It's great. It's funny, wonderful, and I'm very flattered by what he wrote about me. But he talks about his first cousin, who had a big impact on his life, and that was when he was a kid, who was a few years older than him, and that was my part. So it was kind of a pivotal part in Annie Hall, because this cousin that he had this big crush on was supposedly the one that kind of inspired all of his future females, in his life. So anyway, I'm watching the movie, and the movie's over, and I'm not in it, and it kind of blew me away a little bit. But
you were hanging out with Jackie O. I see what he did.
What did he do?
You're hanging out with Jackie O and all of the big people in New York, and so what are you going to say? It's like, okay, I got to see Jackie O, but I'm not in the movie.
Right. I guess. Yeah. It threw me, but then I worked and wound up facing the cutting room floor many, many times. That, right. As you know, Dustin, from directing, this is what happens.
But Dustin would never cut you out.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, you say that now.
So you continued dating him after he cut you out of the movie?
Yeah.
I mean, not other than the fact he was 42 and you were 17 or 16 at the time, or.
No, I was 17.
Okay, you were 17.
41.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Well, that makes all the difference.
24 makes a huge difference.
Okay.
It does.
Although between 16 and 17, it makes a very big difference because of statutory rape laws, being under 17. But I was certainly young, willing, and able. Let's put it that way. It was an incredibly mutual relationship.
Yeah, I heard that the first date he took you to was to watch him play clarinet in a jazz band, and he invited you and your mother. And, for any 17-year-old girl in the 70s, boy, that sounds great.
Well, that was actually before we started dating. That was after the movie, and he invited me to come and watch him play music. And when we left, my mother said, I think he likes you, which kind of put this in my head because, I don't know, it didn't occur to me at the time. And, yeah, so.
He just cast you as the template of all his affection for the rest of his life.
Say that again. He what?
He cast you as the template for all of his affection.
Well,
his life.
I don't know about that, but
which explains why he's always He's gone out with younger girls more than once. Now they say Manhattan is based on you.
Yes, and it is.
And there's another 17-year-old woman, or 17-year-old at the time, not now, but she was 17-year-old at the time. She said that it was based on her.
Yes, I understand that. But if you read that book, his book, he credits me and our relationship. Yes, I asked Woody about this girl. He said, no, she was looking for publicity, whatever. But no, it was not. I'm sure he had some fun with her, but he didn't have a real relationship with her.
Right.
Which he and I had for, over 2 years.
So which begs the question, why were you not cast in Manhattan?
Well, that's really
did a great
interesting.
job, but...
Yeah. Well, so I was already living in LA, having a lot of fun as an 18-year-old would, and supporting myself and, being hot to trot with this one and that one. And he told me he was writing a movie about us. And I said, great, can I play the part of me? He said, no, you're too old. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, no, Tracy is supposed to be 16 and you're 18. And then he cast Marielle, who was 16 or 17. At the time, I was already 19. And Marielle and I once met, and it was kind of comical because she physically, at least, well, in many ways, is the antithesis of me. She's tall and, flat-chested and very waspy and has the Minnie Mouse voice. And, she's very sweet. But, we were completely the opposite. And I think Woody needed to do that to create some distance for himself so it could be funny. So, yeah.
It's a movie that could not be made today, obviously.
It's really quite something, isn't it? How times have changed, and it's not that long ago, but I guess it is. And
right.
Yeah, you couldn't do that today at all.
And let me just ask you, growing up in New York in the late 70s, did you go to like Studio 54 and all that stuff?
Yeah, I sure did.
CBG, did you go to the punk clubs too, or?
No, I was never into that punk scene. So when I did Get Crazy, which I'm sure you loved.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, that was all new to me. No. I was more like Woody that way. I liked Frank Sinatra and classical music and, the Rolling Stones and things like that. But I wasn't into that punk scene. But I certainly got around with one of my friends before I met Woody, going into clubs and dancing with, everybody and anybody. We would sneak in, pretend we were 18, we were 14.
Rubbing
and,
elbows.
Get dressed up and made up. But you could do that in the 70s. It was, nobody cared. Much more fun time than today, that's for sure.
We're so jealous. Rubbing elbows with Andy Warhol and Mick Jagger and all these.
Well, you guys, everybody, all of you young people really missed out. It was a much more free, a little bit more dangerous, but it was such a more fun time without all this political correctness, and people were much more free with their sexuality and just everything.
And speaking of being a fan of the Rolling Stones,
very different today.
Speaking of being a fan of Rolling Stones, did you really date Bill Wyman?
Yeah, briefly, but yes, he was lovely. He used to write me letters a lot, and yeah.
Because they say that like he did better than Jagger. He dated so many girls.
Yes, he married after we dated. He married somebody very, very young. I think she was like 35 years, maybe 40 years younger than him. But yeah.
And her daughter married his son. It was all.
Oh, really?
Her mother married his son. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, it was the whole thing. But in the early '80s, you were just on fire.
Yeah, I guess.
1980, especially. You were in. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailer Serial, which is. Now you've always been into older men, and you seem to be matched up with older men in movies as well.
Yeah.
Serial, I guess you from the commercial, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't seen the whole movie. You get paired up not just with Martin Mull, but the husband from Maude.
Bill Macy, who died recently. Yes.
Sorry to hear
yes.
that.
Yeah. I had the biggest crush on Martin Mull at the time. I can't even tell you. He didn't look at me twice because he was having an affair with somebody else on the movie whose name shall not be mentioned. She was beautiful. But that was so much fun, that film. Oh,
Sounds like a Dustin Ferguson set.
No, it isn't. Not even. Don't start rumors.
No, it's like but it's like kind of I mean, from what I gather, it's about kind of swinging.
yeah.
Couple that start swinging and things.
Right.
I
It's
can't wait.
based on a book that Syra McFadden wrote called The Serial. And yeah, life in Marin County in the 70s, hot tubs and sex and health food and all this crazy stuff. Yeah.
Apparently, the book was a big sensation, and by the time they got around to making the movie, it kind of
Right.
it wasn't such a sensation.
Right. Not at all.
And then, as I said, I did see Get Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin, have you ever seen Get Crazy?
I have. I haven't watched it in a while though.
Oh, I didn't. I've never heard of it. And
wow.
luckily, somebody has it on. Somebody posted it on YouTube. Pretty good quality. And Malcolm McDowell he talks to his penis.
Yes. It's a brilliant scene. He was so good.
When he brings you on stage, he's got this cod piece that is so oversized. And
Funny. Yeah.
Not only is he in it, but Daniel Stern, Lou Reed's in it. Just Paul Bartel and Mary Warnoff, who are in every cult movie in the 80s.
Right.
It's a fun movie. It's just basically about this theater, and they throw a party, and your parents think you're going out in nice little girl clothes, and you throw your clothes on the sidewalk, and you got like a Joan Jett outfit.
Right. Yeah.
And you walk in, and you hook up with Malcolm McDowell, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I got to have Lou Reed sing a song to me, which was very interesting because Lou Reed was very dark, very, very dark kind of energy. And he had his wife was with him a lot, or maybe it was his girlfriend. But apparently, the day that we shot that, Alan Arkish, the director, told me, he said that was one of the happiest days ever for him. And I went, that was his happiest day? I would hate to see his darkest day because you wouldn't get an inkling that he was happy. Never smiled, never.
Yeah, seems like a very serious guy.
Oh, yeah. A lot going on in his head. I mean, and probably a lot of depression and all that. But what a musician, right? He was something. Yeah.
And through that, not only did I see all the movies, I even went to YouTube and saw the Bette Midler video for Beast of Burden.
Well, that came through Alan Arkish because we had just finished Get Crazy, and I was in the city. I was living in LA, but I was visiting in the city, and he called me and he said, I'm shooting this video with Bette Midler and Mick Jagger, and Jeannie Francis from General Hospital, who was a big star at the time, is supposed to play Bette Midler's younger sister. And she bowed out at the last minute. Would you like to come and flirt with Mick Jagger for an afternoon? I said, hell yeah, I'm there.
You're overqualified for that. You went out.
That's how it happened. And they played that. You guys are too young. This is probably before you both were born, when MTV started, and they played this in 1980. I guess it was 83 or 82, 83.
I was alive then. You'd be surprised.
Were you?
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Okay, well then. But you were a toddler. But anyway.
Guys. We're younger, but we're not that much younger.
Okay. Well, MTV had no content at the time, so they would play it literally 15, 20 times a day. And, of course, we got nothing. There was no
royalties. Yeah.
No royalties, nothing. So anyway,
Bette Midler got all the money.
Yeah, probably.
But you got to flirt with him. You got to take out jacket. Did he know you from the Bill Wyman connection, or he didn't?
No, but because I dated Bill after.
Oh,
that was that was right afterward. Yeah.
Did you meet him through Mick Jagger, or?
No, it was actually through another English friend. expats who were all living in LA, and it was that way. Yeah. So.
And speaking of that, as I said, I saw Yellowbeard last night. I've seen that before. Have you seen Yellowbeard, Justin?
I haven't seen that one actually.
You got to hear about this cast. Not only Stacey's in it, that's enough for everybody. But you got Eric Idle, Graham Chapman from Monty Python, John Cleese, Madeline Kahn, Peter Boyle, Marty Feldman, Cheech and Chong. And Stacey plays
Recipe for Success.
Quite something, yeah.
Spike Milligan. It was like Marty Feldman died during production.
Right.
Had filmed everything but his death scene.
Yeah.
And it's a weird movie. I mean, there's a lot of funny stuff happens in the movie, but it's a weird movie in that you're like the whole movie goes on and you're only in it for like the last 10 minutes.
Right. I play the young male Martin Hewitt, who was a big star from Endless Love that Franco Zeffirelli directed with Brooke Shields. And he was the love interest, and he became very hot for a few minutes there. And then he did the lead in this, and I was playing the young female ingenue. Now, they had such high hopes on this movie, Orion Pictures. They had the crew who did the making of the Raiders of the Lost Ark documentary crew coming to follow us. So we had, these documentary filmmakers with us every day, asking questions and being part of it because they thought this was going to be, the second coming. And unfortunately, that is not what happened. So,
now, how much of your role is cut out?
Not a lot. No. But, it's one of those things, had the movie taken off as they expected, being the young female ingenue, that would have done something because it would have been so seen. But that didn't happen. But that was my favorite filmmaking experience because Peter Cook, hanging out with people like that and Graham and Eric Idle, and, we'd all get high and improvise together and laugh, until we were, blue in the face. We had a blast.
I'm assuming Cheech and Chong got high too.
Oh, yes, without a doubt.
You played Chong's daughter.
What's that?
You play Chong's daughter. I played
Tommy Chong's daughter, yeah. And I knew his daughter, Ray Dawn Chong, in real life, from auditions and things. But, yeah, so, I mean, it had this amazing cast. And
so who had the best weed? The Monty Python guys, Cheech and Chong, or the Mel Brooks people?
What was the question?
I said, who had the best weed?
I don't know whose it was, but it was good at the time. That's all I can say.
Because it was like let's throw all the people that were in Young Frankenstein and Monty Python.
Right,
and
exactly.
in the same movie.
Yeah. It was when you take that cast, it should have done something, you would think. But
everybody on the movie, almost to a T, says it was maybe the most fun experience they ever had making a movie, and they didn't like it. John Cleese says he hated it, but he had so much fun. Eric Idle said he hated it, but he wouldn't have missed it for the world. Roger Ebert gave it a horrible review, but said Stacey Nelkin is great.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, he singles you out.
I didn't know that.
He said
he gave bad reviews to that movie and Halloween 3, but said Stacey Nelkin was what made the movies good.
Yeah.
I know that about Halloween 3. I didn't know he saw Yellowbeard and said that.
At the end, he's like, there are few redeeming qualities. One of them is Stacey Nelkin as the young ingenue, and then
wow.
Okay.
Very nice.
And by the way, you are the second guest I've had from the movie Yellowbeard, because I had Greta Blackburn, who played Mr. Prostitute.
Oh, she was gorgeous, stunning woman.
She's great. Yeah. I'll tell you tonight. And so I'm trying to get that. So that was and then Up the Academy is another one. That is the Mad Max. Have you seen Up the Academy, Dustin? You must have.
I haven't even heard of this one. What?
Oh, wait till you hear about this one. Mad Magazine, after Animal House, wanted to do their own movie. So they hired Robert Downey Sr. to film a movie at a military academy starring, I think it was 13 at the time, Ralph Macchio.
Yep.
And Ron Liebman, you know the Ron Liebman, the actor. He played Jeffrey Aniston's father on Friends. He's been Tony Award winner. He's been everything. Great character actor.
Yeah.
Watched the movie and was so disappointed, he took his name off the movie. Mad Magazine saw the movie and said, they paid the producers $30,000 to cut Mad Magazine out of the movie. And at the beginning and the end, there's a guy in a very creepy-looking Alfred E. Newman mask that pops up, and they had to cut him out too. But that's all been restored. And then I just recently listened to Ron Liebman on a podcast. They told him all the great reviews that he got for the movie. He's like, I never heard any of those. He's like, if I heard them, maybe I would have kept my name on.
Right. You know, Ron passed away a few months ago, or maybe almost a year ago now. Yeah. Because his wife, Jessica, played my mother in Going Ape.
I'm good for that, too.
Played my mother in Trapper John and another. So we became very good friends. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But I actually think he's very funny in the movie.
He was amazing in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, kids quote him. You know,
he plays like the leader of the military academy. Every time he walks in, the temperature drops to below zero. And you start seeing people's breath. They start shivering. And basically, there's four kids, teenagers that go to military academy. One is a sheik's son. One is a son of a reverend. One is the son of a mafia guy, and then one is the son of a congressman who knocks up your character.
Right.
And then you have an abortion. This is the first scene.
Right.
And then hijinks ensue. By the way, here's the Roger Ebert quote. There's a funny line or two, a fetching performance by Stacey Nelkin as a young wench, and some nonsense about buried treasure. And then Yellowbeard is soon over and soon forgotten.
Oh.
He also said you were fetching in Halloween 3, so I think Roger Ebert, as you know, me and everybody else, had a bit of a crush on you.
Well, that's very sweet. I wish I'd known that. I would have reached out to him. He passed away too.
Yes.
What's going on? We're all dying. What's happening?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm still getting over Van Halen.
You guys have time. Don't worry.
Yeah, good. Anyway, so up the academy. Now you were on the set. I mean, you were on the set. You do a whole thing where they tried to trap Ron Lee. See, I think he's hilarious. He does the tickle your ass with a feather bit,
right?
Which is it still cracks me up.
It's sick, kind of, middle school humor.
Yeah,
not high school humor, middle school humor. And
it still cracks me up. So he goes to like five ladies at this dance, and they all just like tickle your ass with a feather, and then particularly assy weather, and then she's like, yeah, it is. He's like, so what about the ass and the tickle and the whole thing? And then he tries to tie somebody else up with rope. And then he goes to Stacey. He's like, took your ass with a feather, and you're all into it. But you're trapping him with the other kids. Right. And you come out, you get him in his room, and you where'd you get the belly dancing outfit? That's what everybody wants.
Oh, that was you mean in the movie where would
it's not really explained.
Character have gotten it? I don't know. so far out and so crazy. I just remember going to a screening of the movie when it was playing in the theater for probably 3 days at the time.
Right.
And sitting in the back row, and there were some young middle school age boys in front of me. I was with my then boyfriend Perry King, and one of them said, loud enough for me to hear, "She's got the biggest breasts I've ever seen. Oh my God." And here I was behind him. I was kind of mortified.
What was Perry King's reaction?
Exactly. And the movie was meant for those preteens, so
was Perry King like, yeah, she does. I know.
He didn't say anything. He kind of
didn't say anything. So you're getting a little more age appropriate, Perry King. I think that's like a 10-year, 15-year age kid.
Yes, 11. Yeah.
11. I know you have all these dates written down. And you married Barry Bostwick, another older actor, good-looking guy from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Right.
And didn't work out, but you know.
No, that was more of a rebound kind of thing after Perry, but whatever. Yeah, no, it was, we got to travel a lot. That's about the best thing I can say about that marriage. So,
'Cause I heard another podcast that you were on, and we're going to get to Halloween 3. Don't worry about it. Dustin's got all sorts of questions, and I did too. But you dated Warren Beatty too, right?
mm-hmm.
But who didn't?
Who didn't? I'm surprised you didn't.
To say I didn't.
They did everybody.
And what time frame is this? Because it's like
This is
it's pre-Madonna, I'm assuming.
a little later after I met Barry.
Okay.
Maybe before we were married. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Before Madonna. Or maybe after Madonna. I can't remember.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. And because I was listening to a podcast, and it was your second husband was called into the podcast. His nickname Scooter or something? Your second husband?
Whose name was Scooter?
Is his nickname Scooter or something? They called him Scooter or something. I don't know.
That's news to me.
You were on some podcast. It was not too long ago.
Okay, with his friends, yes.
Yes. Oh, okay.
They knew him from like grade school or something, right?
Oh, okay. So to them, he was Scooter. Yeah. It was so sad because he's still in love with you, and it was so obvious.
No, I think he has a girlfriend now. I hope he does.
Oh, good. I hope he does.
Anyway,
I got to send this to you, Dustin. It's sad. He's like, they're like, oh, you got to commit to a girl. He's like, I did commit. I committed to Stacy, and
yes, and he didn't want to go further. He would.
If he would start crying if he went further. He was just all like, you'll meet an extraordinary girl. You'll meet the one. He's like, I had the one. I was Stacy, and see, this is the effect you have on men.
Hardly.
I don't know.
There's always another side to it, but anyway.
Oh, I'm sure. There's another side to everybody. Don't worry about it. That's why I put this side out.
And you've got your dark mark.
Yes, that's why I put this side out, so that the side that you're not looking for is going to be the nice side. And then I've had people like disappointed that I was so nice, actually.
Really?
You'd be surprised because I know your relationship.
She's like, really?
You'd be surprised. Now that I've stopped grilling you about your sex life, and but you did a lot of
You're
TV.
a trooper, Stacy.
No, you did.
Bring it on. I can handle it. Go ahead.
Before we go to Halloween, and we're gonna, because this is what you're here on Halloween month about Halloween, but
yeah,
work with Don Rickles on the TV show Hunter.
Yes,
I watched that too. How was he? What am I hearing?
He was actually very nice, which you would not expect, right? Because he was always so kind of nasty. He was very nice. We sat together a lot in the makeup room, in the makeup trailer, and no, he was very nice, and he would tell a lot of jokes, and but that whole nasty kind of hyperactive, sarcastic thing, that was just his persona,
Right.
Yeah.
No personas. And then before we get what we're really talking about, I'm exhausting you. I've been researching you so much. I've got so much to talk about.
Wow.
Blade Runner.
Yeah.
There's two movies that you were cut out of that are among the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
Annie Hall.
Quite something.
And Blade Runner.
Yeah.
You were this close.
Yeah.
Do you know this, Dustin?
Yeah, and because Donna Lee Heising was cut from Blade Runner too, so I kind of know a little bit about the history.
Well, the whole thing was I auditioned initially for the role of Pris that Daryl Hannah did. So it came down to me and this woman named Nina Axelrod, who was this tall blonde, and Daryl and Sean Young. That would have been the Pris, and I forgot her name, the lead, the other character. And they didn't think I was physically big enough to conceivably beat up Harrison Ford, because there's that scene where Pris, does the kicking and all this stuff. So I did not get cast. And also I think Sean Young was having a little thing with Ridley Scott at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that kind of tilted the scales in their favor. But Nobody's going to see this video, right? Nobody will know.
No.
No one's watching.
We're all almost dead anyway. It doesn't matter. We can talk about this stuff.
I can almost guarantee Ridley Scott will not be watching.
Anyway, so there was this part that they wanted to write in for me that was in the, I guess it's based on some novel or something, right? So there's this character, Mary, this seventh replicant or one of these replicants who has this amazing death scene. And so they cast me in this part, sight unseen. Well, they had already, done a huge screen test. And when I tell you the screen tests for Blade Runner were like screen tests for Gone with the Wind. I mean, 35 millimeter, full hair, full makeup. We were on the set for a full day. This was when I was auditioning for the part of Pris. So, Ridley already knew that he wanted me, and they cast me in this part, and I was I was working with the crew and the hanging out on the set for many weeks doing hair and makeup and wardrobe. And then I got a call from Michael Dealey, one of the producers, and the actors' strike had just happened. Mm-hmm. And they were way over budget. And he said, oh, darling, I'm sorry we haven't even gotten to your part. And we're so over budget. We're just going to have to cut it out. I'm so sorry. And I was stunned because I'd done so much prep work for this. Mm-hmm. And who knew? You never know when you're making a film, right? You never know what's going to happen with it. But, it's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. So I'm very flattered that at least I get to be on the DVD of.
Well, you must have impressed them so much that they have you come back for the DVD, and Daryl Hannah says very nice things about you.
Yeah, she was lovely. Yeah.
She was a bit jealous of your beauty, it sounded like.
No, she's gorgeous. Are you kidding?
She's beautiful, but
So yes, that was another one that that would have made a difference. Even a small part in something that's that memorable, makes a difference.
Right. So. And I because of time restraints, I'm going to have to skip the movie you did with Tony Danza, Danny DeVito, and a chimp, Going Ape, which I haven't seen yet.
And Jessica Walter. 3 orangutans.
Okay, great. How was it working with a chimp? Was that fun?
For the last 3 weeks of filming, I had to carry this little one in my arms in this big chase scene and all this.
Yeah, but enough about Danny DeVito. What about the chimp?
Smelly and sweaty this chimp was, like this orangutan.
Right.
And they got paid and treated better than all of us in the cast. I can tell you that.
That doesn't surprise me.
So Bobby Barasini's.
Oh no! It was Bobby Barasini.
Yeah.
I used to beat the chimps.
Yep.
You see him beat the chimps?
Yes. That came out afterward. The director had done a lot of things with Clint Eastwood, and these orangutans, excuse me, I don't want to insult them.
Yeah.
Very different creatures. But these orangutans were in which one of the Clint Eastwood? Every Which Way But Loose?
They did a couple of them. Every Which Way But Loose. Every Way You Can. Right. And this was Going Ape, I guess, was a ripoff of that.
Exactly. So anyway, yeah. And we had a lot of fun, Tony and I, and yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, not that much fun. I had a crush on him. I was not his type. He was only into, the blondes, and now I'm blonde, but because I'm also very gray.
Right.
But he was, no, I was not his type. But we had enough fun. But I'll bet
DeVito was hitting on you like crazy.
What's that?
DeVito was probably hitting on you like crazy.
He was not all that nice to me. I don't know. Ooh. Maybe it's because I had to put a pie in his face. I don't know.
Okay.
It might have been that. Anyway.
Enough of them. Enough
gossip.
Enough of those knuckle draggers. And by that I mean Tony Danza and Danny DeVito. Halloween 3.
Yes.
I'm 14 years old. I go to a video store. And my mom actually picks out Halloween 3. We had seen Halloween. Halloween 2 must have been out.
Right.
Watched this movie, and I said, this is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
Oh, my God. You're crazy.
That's the first email I sent to you, and it's true.
Wow.
This was a few years ago.
That's so sweet.
It's true. And, I was 14 at the time. And
what did you know at that time? But go ahead.
Well, I've got so many questions. I'm sure Dustin does. Dustin, do you have any questions about Halloween 3?
Should I just start rattling a couple off?
Rattle a couple off. You've been so quiet
Is
so far.
Stacey ready for this? I mean,
Go. Sure.
okay, well, first of all, so there's a still that's been circulating online of you sitting on the bed smoking a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a cut scene or is that just a behind the scenes photo?
Oh, no, I think that was a cut scene. Yeah.
Do you remember much about it that was cut?
I actually don't. I think it was the aftermath, so cliche, of us having the sex scene.
Okay.
And then we're sitting on the bed and, you know, yeah.
And then another one, I don't know if it's a continuity error or not, but when you guys get the tour of the factory,
Right.
you see Tom Atkins wiping his nose in several shots after that for no reason. Do you know anything about that?
No.
But didn't
I
he
have
have,
to
didn't he have
watch this
pneumonia through
again.
the whole he had pneumonia through the whole shooting, right?
Well, it's
Yeah.
like he has the sniffles. Like it's right after they get out of the building and they're in the back of the building, and he's talking to Dan O'Harely, and
Yeah.
he's just wiping his nose for some reason. He kind of puts it in his pocket when he walks up to Stacey, and I was like, did he get a bloody nose on set? Like, it's just so
No.
random. And I never noticed it the first few times, but I'd obviously seen the movie a lot, and it's just like, what happened? What's going on?
I have to watch this. I have no idea.
And
That's
did he
great.
have-
Wow, so you guys have good eyes for this stuff. I
Well,
don't.
no. Wait till you hear my next question. But did he have pneumonia? I've heard that he was sick during the whole filming.
Yeah, he had a cold, didn't he, when you guys were filming?
You know, that's possible. It's those little details. I don't remember that. I just remember Tom was just a complete and utter gentleman. You know, I think one of our first scenes we had to shoot was, of course, the love scene. And it was, you know, it was freezing cold morning, and they're prepping me. And in those days, you know, they didn't have that spray thing for the body makeup. They would put it on with cold water and sponges all over your body. It would take an hour. So, you know, and it was already, you know, 45 degrees in the morning or whatever. We were way up north. And, you know, we had barely met, and we're getting in bed together. And it was the most incredibly technical, unsexy scene you can imagine doing, because, you know, everything is for the camera because they're coming in so close. So no, about a half an inch higher, Tom, kiss her breast. No, over to the left. And it's like, oh, come on.
Well, part of this is
Such a
the
gentleman. He was so sweet.
is this true that you would show your breast but not your nipple?
Well, that was what my agent at the time I was with Creative Artists Agency. And that was what my agent said. Look, you don't want to have to show your nipple if you don't have to, because, you know, a lot of these movies, this is especially in those days, the horror films, it was just about, you know, let's get some gratuitous sex in here. So they didn't want me to do that. I had already been, you know, working and had some nice body of work behind me. And they said, don't do it. So I didn't do it.
Yes.
When
She's been
the movie
going no nudity. No, but the way they filmed the sex scene, it's like
You can't see my
you see
nipple.
every bit of the breast except for the nipple.
Exactly.
And it's so
It's very strategic.
weird and contorted.
Very strategically done. Yeah. So
You know, and I'm kind of curious because I know it hasn't been talked in detail, but what was it like for you when the film came out? Because everybody knows it had an overall negative reaction initially.
yeah.
How was that for you personally? Like when you heard the reaction for the first time, what the general public thought? How did you feel? How did you take it?
Wow. Well, you know, as I was telling you before about Up the Academy, came and went in 2 days. I think Get Crazy the same. I don't think Going Ape played in the theaters that much longer. Most of the things I had done did not have great success, you know. So that was kind of par for the course. I was never a big fan of horror films, especially, you know, at the time they started the Friday the 13th and all of those kind of really scary things. When I was young, I saw The Exorcist, and it literally traumatized me. I mean, I remember I couldn't sleep for 3 weeks after seeing it. I was so freaked out. So I don't like to be scared. So horror films were never something I would go to see. So I wasn't surprised that it didn't do well because, most of these kind of movies, they really didn't have a big following. And I guess Halloween 1 did, but it was kind of one of those flukes, because there was so much production of these kind of films. I think it's the lucky ones that actually, get seen and become some kind of cult film. So I didn't have high hopes on it. I didn't think it was going to be some huge hit, but it's only in retrospect now, that people say they love it.
Well, and how does that make you feel? I mean, with the reaction to it being now?
That is the most amazing thing, Dustin, because none of us, Tom had done a bunch of things, with John Carpenter, some pretty successful, some not, so I think as an actor or an actress, you're always surprised when something actually takes off like this. It's incredible. I mean, that's how I've, gotten to, go to all these conventions, really only because of Halloween 3, not because of any of the other films that I did that, in all honesty, at one point I was certainly more proud of because, they had these big casts and famous people in them already and famous directors. And this was a little, film that kind of got thrown together with a lot of creative spirit behind it. Tommy Lee Wallace, amazing. And it's found this following. So I actually love the film and I like it better, after I did it. Well, actually, before I got cast, I saw Halloween 1, which also gave me nightmares. And then I saw Halloween 2, and I went, okay, I see what they're doing. They want to show tits. They want to show, So this one I love because it's different. It's much smarter. It's more sci-fi to me. It's more like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something. It makes you think a little bit.
There's a love story. There's a
love story, exactly.
But you've only been in one horror movie, and you're a horror movie icon.
Well, that just flips me out. I don't think I'm an icon of anything except maybe to my kids. But
well, I think it had, what's finding the audience with it now is that it, like you said, it's an intelligent film, and I think audiences are obviously expecting something different. I think that the promotional materials for Halloween 3 maybe misled audiences and not letting them know what they were getting. And so which was probably a marketing tactic because maybe they were worried about it. Right. But what's interesting though is that it has so much to say about like the effects of advertising, on children and how you can just have a theme song that gets stuck in your head and they'll want to buy it, and be brainwashed. And it's so relevant throughout time, especially today with how advertising has become. And so I think that maybe that's why it's found its following now is that people are starting to connect and pay attention because they don't care so much now that Michael Myers isn't in it. So they can have a more open mind and kind of discover the film now and be like, what? I didn't know it was like that.
Right. Great point. Totally agree. Yeah. Yeah. It has it has messages in it. Certainly where the others, they just want to scare you.
Well, and there's so much artistry, What's that, Mark?
There's cameras in the streets.
Yeah, the surveillance cameras.
Dude, that was unheard of.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm always talking to people about, and a lot of people don't realize this, that's the last film in the series that was shot in the anamorphic cinemascope ratio. Like it's the very artistically shot film, and that was the last one in the series to do that. And it's what I really appreciate is the art and the atmosphere and mood of that movie.
Yeah. Oh, Dean Cundey is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
An amazing cinematographer. Yeah.
Which leads me to this question.
They really elevated it.
Which leads me to this question. Why did Tom Atkins have a hanky in his back pocket? No?
Maybe it's because of the cold that he had.
He had the sniffles.
Maybe it's connecting together because
we're figuring this out right now.
Stacey might have had an inside thing on that.
I honestly, if he was sick, I honestly didn't know.
Well, I think in the interview, he said he just got run down because the chase scene where he's being chased by the factory workers went on, and apparently there was a lot more to it. And he said he just got real worn out from that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, there was a lot of night shooting, a lot,
Right.
and cold and damp, and yeah.
And of course, the question you must get asked more than any of them: was Ellie always a robot, or did she turn into a robot?
Come
Yeah,
on.
you got to clarify
what do you
this.
think?
I don't know.
I think you got turned into a robot, but I feel like the amount of time that happened when you were captured logically doesn't seem like it would work. But
Right.
it's not like it matters. But there's so many people that think you always were a robot, but you were so much more conscious before the end.
Yeah,
So
because
that's
what
why I think,
happens to the original Ellie if she turned into a robot?
yeah.
See, I think when they take me, and there's that scene of me lying down, right? I'm tied up, little S&M bondage kind of thing.
I'm familiar with the scene, yes.
I think that's what I always assumed. And I continue to assume that. And I assumed that when I was doing it, that was
Right.
when the transformation happens. It never even occurred to me that throughout the film, Ellie would have been a robot. Never.
Because there's an obvious shift in your character at that point, obviously. I don't think you speak at all at that point. So.
Right.
And then there's the wonderful scene where your head is decapitated, and I'm assuming you were just standing in a hole, and they had you like with the head like this.
It was so amazing how they did that. You know, today they would do it all green screen. But in those days, which is not that long ago, but with, technology, it's, ancient history, they had this platform built, with a hole in it, 2 holes, one hole here and another hole like 5 feet away, grass covered, so it looked like the outside. And my body double, who had been wearing the same outfit I was wearing for several weeks, because it was that chase scene, which took a long time to shoot. So she's wearing, exactly what I'd been wearing every time I look down there, and her head's in the hole, and I crawl under this thing, and my head is up like a little whack-a-mole thing. And there I am, and I'm looking over at my body, and, from the butt, and she looked just like me and in the same clothes. It was so freaky. I can't even tell you. Very cool though. But
She had her head was underneath. Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing how they conceive these kind of things,
Well, if you saw the budgets that Dustin has, he said it provides like that a few times. But I just got so many questions. But Dustin, go ahead. I don't want to. What are the questions you have about Halloween 3?
What actually led to, I'm not sure if I know, what led to your involvement in the film? How did you get cast in that role?
So back to Perry King. Perry and I were dating. He had left his wife. He was living with the makeup artist who, a guy named Ron Walter, who did the makeup for Halloween 3. Ron was the makeup artist on the miniseries The Last Convertible that Perry and I met doing. And Ron and Perry had worked together several times. So Perry is now, newly separated husband, moves in with Ron. And Ron was already hired to be the makeup artist on Halloween 3. And he kept telling me about it. I'd see him every day because Perry and I were together. And he'd say, look, they haven't cast this part. You want to think about it? I'm like, no, I'm not sure. I want to do comedy, whatever. And then it was getting really close. He said, Stacey, just read the script, whatever. And I did, and I loved the script, and I loved the character of Ellie. And I went in, and I read for it. And literally, as I'm walking in my front door home after the audition, the phone is ringing, telling me I got the part. And that never happens, ever. And it was such a great character, and that's why I liked it. Ellie was a great character.
Oh,
Do you have any particular experiences filming that stood out that were your favorite? Any particular scene?
The two that I've talked about, the sex scene, obviously, because it was just so different and so unusual and technical, and then also the making of where my head gets cut off. I thought that was really something.
Not the scene where the stunt driver almost clipped a tree.
No, not that one. What,
You know what I'm talking about?
was I in the car?
You say on the DVD, the special edition, that Dick Warlock was driving, and you guys you didn't hit a tree, but you scraped a tree.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
We know more about you than you. You realize.
I told you that, or did Dick mention that?
Well, I think you both talked about it.
But it was probably Dick's memory better. I'm not, yeah, wow.
Do you remember
Dick
that?
is great, yeah, wow. Well, another thing that stands out about making the film was the town. The town was really like what it looked like. It was haunted and eerie, and the town was up for sale not that long ago, and nobody bought it. Nobody wanted to buy it because they all felt like it was haunted.
That's super crazy.
Were all very strange, and I don't know, from the Salem witch trials on, everybody checking each other out and paranoid and weird, and it was a very strange vibe in that town.
I actually filmed at the gas station in one of my films. I mean, I had to. Oh yeah, I seeked it out. I looked it up online and found the location. I'm like, I have to have a piece of Halloween 3 in this movie, and so we went and filmed there.
I love it. Did you think that as well?
Oh yeah, it's definitely got a creepy vibe, and a lot of it obviously over the years has changed. A lot of it's fenced off and under construction. I think they're tearing so much of it down now.
Oh wow. Oh, that's kind of sad, I think, but
It is, and like the factory's in shambles now. I mean, it's so old, I guess.
Yeah. Wow.
And what movie is this, Dustin, that you filmed?
Tales for the Campfire 3 last fall.
Oh, okay, I'll have to look out for that. But the meta thing that's great about Halloween 3 is that you're having sex with Tom Atkins, and in the next room over, and I'm sure they filmed these things separately, is Tom Atkins' wife at the time.
That's right.
Is dying. She gets killed, and then Tom Atkins is like, "Hey, what's that?" And you're like, "Yeah, who cares?" It's so meta.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
Now we know you were living that with Perry King at the time. So now, except for Bullets Over Broadway, Woody finally cast you in something. Mm-hmm. You retired from acting. Why did you?
No, acting retired from me. I didn't retire from acting. Really. Well, I moved back to New York. Right. I worked with Woody 3 more times. He cut me from 2 other movies, if you can believe it.
Okay, I'm not getting his book anymore. Forget it.
I know, really, Deconstructing Harry and Celebrity. But I know I did a lesbian big chill film called Everything Relative.
Okay, wait.
And I'm trying to remember, some theater and commercials and all that. And then I, got married for a 3rd time and had 3 kids and kind of went, well, if it's not happening. But I did do a really fun short film about 2 years ago called Dante and Beatrice, or Beatrice and Dante. I can't remember, but really funny. It's short. It's, 10 minutes, 12 minutes.
And you became a relationship expert, and you've been on Fox News, Bill Cunningham Show, all sorts of shows.
And I'm a substance abuse counselor now.
That's
so
great.
I work doing that. Yeah.
And I hate to bring this back up, but because I know you from Halloween 3. Dustin knows you from Halloween 3, and all the other great movies we see you in. Every now and then I put on a movie, and wow, Stacey Nelkin popped up. Rodrigo was right; she was fetching. But does it bother you that the time that the only time you seem to be brought up in the media is when Woody Allen is in the news for something crazy? They just seek you out rather than what you've achieved on your own. That's got to annoying.
Yeah, that's a little troubling. And some people credit him for my career, which could not be further from the freaking truth, because he did
found out tonight
nothing for my career. But that's how it is. Well, if I get crazy about those things, no pun intended, I'll be miserable. It's not, just keep moving on,
Yes. And before we go, unless Dustin's got another question, which it looks like he does.
No, I was just going to state, everything happens for a reason. I'm sure she's aware of that. And she ended up with an amazing career anyways. So
I think so.
Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
And when you go to the conventions, I'm sure, what's the strangest fan reaction you've gotten at a convention?
Oh God,
this
what
will
a
be
great
good.
question. I wish I had a good answer.
Are people
love
respectful
meeting
for the most
fans.
part?
What's that?
Are people respectful overall for the
Oh,
most part?
very, very, very respectful. And and the horror fans are so cool. They're all, very intelligent people, and they know their stuff, and I love it. I love meeting the people who actually come and watch these movies. And, a lot of them talk about the dark side, Mark. They come in costume or they come, with their dark side right there. It's really fun.
The Halloween 25, the Halloween 40, and you're part of the family.
Yeah, there you go.
With Tom Atkins says the stepchild of the family because you don't have Michael Myers, but we still think it's the best one. We watch it every Halloween.
It's the best one, hands down.
You guys are sweet. Thank you.
And Stacey, I got to let you go. Like I said, I could talk to you forever. We could talk all night. I mean,
yeah.
There's still another 2 hours we got to talk about going ape and things like that. But also, Chips and Eric Estrada and all that. But I hope to see you on the screen again soon. And if not,
Trevor and Callie, I will give you a leading role. Offer stands.
Well, this might hopefully this works out.
I'll come out to do it. What'd you say?
Can I give Dustin your email so he can?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. You're putting her on the spot now.
No, absolutely. And I love your titles of your movies. Oh my God. The one
I've done over 100 features, so.
Amityville in the Hood. What a great title. That's great.
Yeah, it's actually my third Amityville movie. It's crazy.
Love it. Love it. That's great. I'll have to check out your stuff too.
Yes. Well, we have to have a love scene, Dustin, if you're going to cast her, me and Stacey.
You wish.
Oh, I definitely do. But anyway, Stacey, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
If there's anything you want to plug, if there's any website or anything going on with you, let me know.
Right now? Yeah, no.
Just everybody go back and watch Yellowbeard and Going Ape. And
Halloween 3, it's that time of year.
And vote. Vote.
And votes.
And vote.
And so I will let you watch the debate, the real horror show, but
exactly.
This has been a dream come true. You've been
Mark,
terrific.
So
love to have you back on again. Maybe next Halloween. We'll see what happens.
Anytime. I'd love to come back on again. You're great.
It was an honor meeting you.
Take good care.
You too.
Yeah.
And Dustin, I'll hype your website real quick for everybody, or what you got going on.
Well, I got my streaming service. It's SCS Entertainment on Demand. We also have a DVD store. I post everything on my Facebook. And, of course, you can find me on Instagram as The Only Dirty D.
And I'm a goth comedian on all social media. Everybody have a wonderfully creepy Halloween and vote, vote, vote.
Yes, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Thank you, everybody.